Still all square at the World Chess Championship. World champion Magnus Carlsen looks very relaxed at the moment. Fabiano Caruana isn't giving much away at the press conferences. In the 6th game, Carlsen plays with the white pieces. Can he find a new idea in the opening to put some pressure on the challenger? He did indeed, finding a bizarre knight maneuver against Caruana's Petrov. But it didn't surprise the challenger, and they reached an equal endgame, a familiar story for this match. The logical consequence of play was a draw, but Carlsen wanted to keep fighting hard, too hard, and step by step, Caruana improved his position. The situation was critical for the world champion. He had to sack a piece, grab as many pawns as possible, then try to construct a fortress. In spite of the extra piece, Caruana couldn't break it down and a draw was agreed. But that wasn't quite the end of the story.
You were right not to believe in fortresses. Apparently there was a mate in 30 at some moment in the middle of this fortress. So do you still not believe in them?
You mean after I go h5?
Yes, after h5.
Okay, I don't think that it was ever easy. I mean, at the end, it actually seems a bit accidental. And I mean, to find this, you have to basically be thinking very hard about each move to find some accidental chance. And at some point, I had pretty much given up near the end. I thought it was a fortress.
After 6.5 hours and 80 moves, the players agreed to a draw. What an incredible fight. I mean, those of us watching are completely exhausted. What about the players? I have to say they looked remarkably fresh at the press conference. I mean, I found it very impressive. Remarkably, Fabiano actually missed a win. Now, this is so complex that, I mean, I'm certainly not criticizing. In fact, this very subtle winning idea was demonstrated by a Norwegian supercomputer called Cessa. And it's so far away from human chess that Fabiano can't be blamed for overlooking this. Let me show you the idea, because it is actually very beautiful and exploits a very nice endgame concept, Zugzwang. So here we go. In the game, Fabiano played knight move, but here he could have played bishop here, and that's actually a waiting move. So one problem is that if the bishop moves back, then the king comes into the corner, and that's, well, we'll see that's exactly what black wants. So we wait with the bishop on this diagonal, preventing the king coming over. Then the knight comes here. So be careful of a check here, forking king and bishop, so bishop here. And that also protects this pawn. Knight G1. Now this is an amazing concept. Attacking the bishop comes here. So black's knight is actually trapped. So this is a really inhuman idea. So the knight might be trapped, but now the king is able to come into the corner, and we'll see how important that is in a second. So pawn advances. I mean, actually, black can force this advance. But so let me cut to the chase and show you what happens. Bishop g5. Again, this position is Zugzwang. So either the bishop lets out the knight, or, for example, if the king comes back, we play king here and we take the pawn. So at some point, white has to push. h7, check. King goes in the corner, of course. Now, if the king moves away, we take the pawn. So now the bishop has to move. That lets out the knight, crucially. And then we're ready to give a check here. So if the bishop moves here, for example, we give a check. And now the king has to move away from protecting the all-important pawn. And once that pawn goes, then it's actually a relatively simple win. The king will come up the board and force the win of white's remaining pawn. Like I said, I'm certainly not criticizing Fabi for missing that, but I think it is an amazing idea. So, 6 draws after 6 games, but boy oh boy, the players are giving it their all.